everybody, I'm Isaiah and welcome back to my topic channel. So, today's video is gonna be very interesting. So, today I'm gonna be telling you guys my video game story. How I got into video games, how video games became a big part of my life, how they declined from my life for a short period of time, but then gradually came back on. So let's get into it. My video game story. Here we go. Okay, so I basically first saw my first video game when I was about 3 years old. Now during this time I had a weird VTech learning entertainment system, which was like these weird like little VTech cartridges, you know, there would be like children's like movies and shows, like the like I had a Wiggles one, I had an Up one, I had a Backyardigans one, I think I had a Diego one. It was like VTech and Leapfrog were like the learning games that were trying to like act like video games. But the very first video game I ever remember seeing and playing was Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games on Nintendo DS. That game, I have so much nostalgia for that game in general, and it's just such a fun game. And that was like my first ever video game that I remember. Also, Mario Kart Wii is also like a big one next from my childhood that I remember seeing. And I remember playing it with my older brother and my older sister. And it just became like a thing. So then like when I was 4, I started playing like Wii Sports, because Wii Sports Resort came out, and like we were all playing that, and that was like my favorite game on the Wii at that time, because like I love the sword fighting games, I love the bowling games, like they were just so fun. Like Wii Sports was kind of like the one game that you could play with your family all together. You wouldn't have to worry about like the different kinds of control. I had to do a swing the remote back and forth, or up and down, or do this with the Wii remote, and that was basically it. Then you would know how to play Wii Sports. And then in 2010, that's like where the video games begun for me, where I can experience them my own way. So what happened was, in Christmas of 2010, I got my very first game console, my true game console, and that was a Nintendo DSi. And the very first games I got with my Nintendo DSi were Toy Story 3 and Super Mario 64 DS. Those were the 2 games I got for Christmas, and I was playing them. I remember playing Toy Story 3 and Super Mario 64 on the DSi. It was so fun. It was actually like my introduction into like Mario. Toy Story 3 I beat multiple times growing up, and I've beaten it a couple more times now. And Super Mario 64, I actually don't remember if I fully beaten it or not. But Super Mario 64 was such a fun game, and that was actually my first video game console. So the Nintendo DS library holds a very important place in my heart. Now, if you're thinking, wait, what was your first home console? Well, I think this is probably from everybody that grew up between 2005 on. Their very first home console, if they were like 6, 5, 7, between the ages of 6, 5, and 8, they're probably your first game console, home console, could have been the Wii. Because that was for me. I was about 5 when I got my Wii. It was after Christmas. It was like in February of 2011. My mom, me and her went to Toys R Us, rest in peace, and we bought the Wii with like classic games just like Fling Smash and Just Dance 2 and Zumba, and obviously Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort, because we bought the black Wii with the Wii Motion Plus controllers. It had GameCube backwards compatibility too, but it came with Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort playable inside of it. So those were like the 2 games that I would play all the time. Of course I would play Just Dance 2 and Fling Smash I kind of wish if instead of Fling Smash, I could have got Mario Galaxy because I think I remember seeing it, and like I think Fling Smash came with an extra controller, so I think that's why we bought Fling Smash instead of like Super Mario 6 Galaxy. And Super Mario Galaxy is actually my favorite Wii game of all time now. So the Wii was actually pretty big for me, and I had now you might be thinking, what other games do you have? Well, I had New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Mario Kart and Ninja Turtles Smash Up. I had so many weird games. Like I had the games that I liked. So like if you probably don't notice that on this channel I don't talk about Zelda much because I wasn't into Zelda as a little kid. I got into Zelda more when I'm now as a teenager because I started getting into more of those kind of like games. But I didn't have any Zelda games growing up, minus like Smash Brothers, but that didn't really count. And but all the games I didn't have, like I didn't have Mario Party, I didn't have Smash Bros. I would play those at my dad's house. So like me and my brother would play like Smash Bros. And Mario Party. Like even on a DS and a Wii, like we would sit down and play Mario Party. Because if you had siblings or friends that had the games, you would go to their house, you'd come to your house and play the games that they had and they don't have. That was something like with the Wii that was so cool. It was like back in the days when our parents had the NES, that Nintendo Entertainment Systems. They went to their friends' houses and played the games that they didn't have, and their friends would come over here to play with the games that we didn't have. So that was kind of like the way that everything would work. Now also, that was basically it for me. Like 2011, I was the Wii and the DSi. Those are my main home consoles, and that was like kind of the way that everything worked. Then fast forward to 2012, I'm still with the Wii and the DSi, but then that Christmas of 2012, I upgraded from the DSi to the 3DS, and I had a Crimson Red 3DS, and I loved that thing. I had not many classics, as you know. Like I didn't have, Mario 3D Land or Mario Kart 7 or New Super Mario Bros. 2 or Legend of Zelda or Metroid or all those games that were on the 3DS is because I couldn't get them. So I was like with the games, I was with Paper Mario Sticker Star or Sonic and All-Stars Racing and like the unlicensed games. I did obviously get other games from time to time. Like I started getting DS games, and they were like there, so I would play DS games also, but I would also get some 3DS games that like I thought were interesting, and I do have some regrets. Like I feel like I could have gotten Mario Kart 7 instead of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform. That was my racing game for the 3DS. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform is still a good game. I rebought that. I have Mario Kart 7, and I now have Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform. So like at least I could have it now, especially when the 3DS is dying out. And 2012 was basically like that, 2012 and early 2013. But 2013 became when I got my first mature console. When I was 8, I got my Xbox 360. Now my Xbox 360 is my favorite console of all time. No joke, it is my favorite console of all time. I have so much nostalgia for the Xbox 360. I love those games. I had a lot of like the actual like big games that were out like in 2013, but obviously they were getting ready for the Xbox One at the time. But like I had like a ton of games. Like I had the Lego game. I had the Lego Marvel Superheroes game. I had that on Xbox 360. I had all the Batmans on Xbox 360. I had the Ninja Turtle games on 360. I had so many games that I liked. Like I even had Disney Infinity on there. I had Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones. But here's the thing. There was like when a lot of the good games were coming out. Like there was like Gears of War and Call of Duty and GTA. But being an 8-year-old kid, your parents aren't really gonna let you play those games, especially your mothers. So I really was going for the games I liked since I was an 8-year-old kid. Cartoons were big. I would get those games. And then 2014, it was basically the same thing. I lost my 3DS to a memory card malfunction where it got put in the wrong way, and my 360 was actually becoming bigger for me. Now here's the sad part. We're getting into the part where video games took a break out of my life. In 2015, I was still hyped up on my 360. I got a couple more games throughout that year. But then once Christmas of 2015 came around, we got the Xbox One. And I still held on to my 360 so I can have, one. I would play my 360 at my grandma's house, but I'll also bring it back there. But we had the one, but I had the Xbox One. Now in 2015, I had to share the Xbox One that I have now, that's still plugged up, that you guys seen before with my stepbrother. Because at that point, we had to share a room, and we had to share a lot of the stuff. And in that point, since he was on it all the time, not blaming him, I kind of blamed myself. Because a lot of the games, like I got Lego Marvel Superheroes again on Xbox One, and I beat that game all the way through in like a week or two. I had Lego Jurassic World that I beat. I had Minecraft Story Mode that I wasn't really into. I had a couple other games, so like video games were kind of taking a break out of my life, and I was kind of getting it more into like being a movie guy, which is weird because the video games have come back into my life drastically. And I was getting more into music in 2016, so I was taking a break from video games, and it's weird because thinking was something that's now like a big part of my life now, and since I was a kid, took a small break from like in 2016 big, because there really wasn't stuff coming out that I liked or enjoyed. The Wii U, I was actually thinking about asking for one year, but I already had the Wii, and that was basically the only one I was playing. Like, I still had my Wii, but I wasn't like getting any new games. Like, games were taking a break from my life, and I never played them. So then, but there was one game that actually saved it, and the game was this was the game that got me back into video games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants in Manhattan. Now I'm going to explain why. When this game came out, I didn't think that I would be able to get it. Because here's the thing, I really wasn't playing the Xbox, and like it wasn't really, and like it was still ours, and I was still watching a movie. I actually asked for a PS4 just for this one game and a couple other ones. My mom was like, look, and then I found out, like, look, you couldn't get it. But then I found out that this game came out, that it was coming out on the Xbox One, and it was on sale. It went from $40 to $36, which isn't a big sale. But I went and got it, and I played through it, and this game is so good. And that was like the thing, like that. This game got me back into video games. I was playing more. I got a couple other. I think it was the only game. And then like 2017 came around, and we got the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, and I was dead set on it. I loved how it was. I loved the games that are coming out for it, especially Super Mario Odyssey is the one game I really wanted for the Switch. So then Christmas of 2017 came around, and I got the Nintendo Switch for Christmas. And the Nintendo Switch is the console that got me back into gaming. And then with the Xbox, I started getting more games. And then 2018, I said goodbye to my Wii and got the NES Classic Edition so I can get into retro games. And I had 2 Game Boys at the time, which I still have. And I built my collection so much over 3 years since 2017. And now, just coming from what all my respective was of video games, I'm entirely grateful that I got back into them, because now video games are so fun to me again, and I feel like with that little kid who looked at the Wii for the first time, picked up the controller, and pressed 2, and I'm glad video games are part of my life, and I'm just glad that all this could happen. So that was my video game story. Now, if you want to know a couple other things, like my favorite console, Xbox 360. Favorite video game, Crash Bandicoot and Lego Batman 2. Favorite game controller, probably the Switch Pro controller and the GameCube controller. Favorite game for each system, that's its own video. What my gaming collection looks like, stay tuned for that video, because I will be doing a video on what my game collection has expanded from 2017 to 2020. 3 years. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. please subscribe if you haven't, because in my opinion, you always need topics in your life. So until I see you guys again, peace to the O, to the U, to the T. Peace out, guys.